How to start a $100,000 a year business and get it to 1 million. Hey there, welcome to the Skeshbook. This is a podcast documenting my rough notes on creativity, business, and life. I wish people had documented some of the journeys that they went through when they're building their stuff, and I'm doing that when I'm building my own things and going through the journeys of life. So let's jump into today's topic. All right, some context. By the way, this is the podcast where I'd like to sort of give a disclaimer of humility, which is I am not at all in any way, shape, or form. I'm good at what I'm doing. I'm very new to the world of business. I'm making money and I'm an artist by profession for a very long time. And I've sort of learned how to do business with my art or have art as an integral part of my business. So then that means just take everything that I say with a huge grain of salt. So what is my credibility? My business has been doing approximately $180,000 for the past 3 years. And I'm happy with where things are, and I am growing little by little every single year. And I've been able to do this because of some of the following lessons that I'm about to sort of summarize so that I can revise and get back to these lessons and make sure that I articulate the journey that I went through in the past couple of years and sort of take away some solid lessons, which I can then later use later on in my life. So the whole point is basically I'm doing this podcast for myself. So take everything that I say with a huge grain, not even just a grain, a truckload of salt, because I do not know what I'm doing and I'm trying to find out how I'm doing certain things. So yeah, welcome to the journey, folks. All right, so today's question that I want to sort of articulate on or answer is this: how to start a $100,000 a year business and get to potentially $1 million a year. The second part, I do not know the answer except on a theoretical basis. The first part, I have walked the walk on that front. So I'm sort of going to sort of share what I have done and some of the lessons that I've learned in it. Step by step, that is what I'm going to do. Okay, backstory. I did not intend to go into business. I accidentally stumbled upon the whole concept and the idea of business and making money with my art. Quite accidentally, to be honest. As in, I expected to make some money out of my art and make a living out of my art and potentially sort of do something else for making money. But the things that I did over the past couple of years had allowed me to sort of make a full-time income out of my art and run a business and run a studio with people, team, and a bunch of people working for me, thankfully. And I did not know that I was in business till I really remember the moment, actually, quite honestly, where I was having a meeting with a bank manager who had my account, in that particular bank. I was having a meeting. It was so weird. I don't do these kinds of things like professional meetings with bank folks. This all seemed so new to me. So sitting on one side of a table, and he was sitting on the other side of the table. And at that time, I had like 4 employees, right? And he was like, you are an entrepreneur. You are a businessman. You're a business guy. I was like, what do you mean? It's like, you have a business. You make money. You're paying people. You have overheads. You have income. You have expenditure. You have profits. You have sales. You have marketing. You have all these factors. This is a business. And that's when it struck me that actually what I was doing was the game of business. And I did not know that I was in business till that point, to be honest. I thought I'm just an artist and I'm hiring people in order to get help, to remove things off my plate as and when I can. And I try to invest my time in places where it would make me money later on in the future. And that's how I thought I went about it. But at that point in time, he sort of clarified to me, you're in business, man. You better buckle up, buddy. That's what he said. No, he didn't say that in that exact sentence. He's like, yeah, you gotta get your head together, right? I mean, it wasn't together before. It's just better when things are going well, you just get it together. Thankfully, I didn't listen to his advice. Anyways, that's a story for another time. But regardless, right? So this is how I got into this whole game of business. right? And how did I get into it? So what do I do? What do I sell? And how do I make the money that I was making? So my intention was not to make money and sell stuff. Again, like I told you, my thing was like, I want to draw, I want to make art, and I would love to make money out of it. And I was trying to find avenues and ways in order to make money out of it, right? And then, obviously, I have apparently gained solid skill sets along with art over the past couple of years, like 7 to 8 years, along with art, that had helped me sort of put together a product that would stand out in the market enough to make the money that I was sort of making. Obviously, $180,000 a year is not a lot of money, right? It's very little. It's very minuscule in the larger scheme of things. But I am quite the, let's say, an humble man to some extent. In some extent, I'm not. It's a chunk. It's a good chunk of money. It's a good chunk of money, thankfully, and it's a good chunk of good chunk of it is profit, right? Thankfully, because of the way we run things. It could be way better, trust me. I'm not running things as well as I could. By the way, I'm sort of, fallen my way forward. That's how I'm sort of figuring this whole thing out. Clearly, I'm not walking my way to progress. I'm just like hitting my face every single place, like wherever I'm going and sort of learning my lessons. It's kind of a fun thing. It's a fun thing. But anyways, as I was saying, the thing that we sell, what I wanted to do was create a product that was completely different. So I was reading this book called Rework, which was from the startup world, from the software world, right? And it often talked about creating products and services that are very unique, that is scratching your own itch, that is in the category of one, which by the way is a concept from this book called The 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing. And, also a concept that Tim Ferriss often talks about. And I wanted to sort of create something that is unique, that would be a good investment of my time, that would accrue in value over time if I sort of, kept up with it. And I was like, I wanted to create something that is like the workout home DVDs that I used to follow along back in the day when I was trying to get fit. So I used to be fat and I wanted to sort of get fit, and I used to buy these home workout DVDs, and they were extremely easy for me to sort of put them into my computer and then just play the workout and follow along, right? It was so easy. And these were like these 90-day challenges, 100-day challenges. And I just loved the whole concept. And that's how I learned how to work out and even exercise. I was not able to do a single push-up before these things. Then I was able to do push-ups, pull-ups, squats, lunges, all these other exercises that I thought I'd never be able to do. Right? I learned all of these things from home workout DVDs. And one of my biggest inspirations was Tony Horton of the P90X creator. So he had this program called P90X. It's a 90-day home workout DVD program. I freaking loved it. Right? I followed P90X3. It was more manageable. It was very hard, but it was manageable, right? More than P90X. I never able to finish that. So my thing was, let me create something exactly like that from drawing. So from day one, my approach was, I wanted to create a product that was not a course, right? So artists, what we often do is you learn a skill, you create a course, and then you sell it through information. You sell information. But the thing about information is that it goes away after a while, meaning it loses its value once it's consumed. You want something that does not lose its value once it's consumed. You need something that has slightly a higher rate of value, compared to information. Because I was doing workshops, art workshops. First, I was teaching drawing classes for kids, right? When I was super broke, right? And then I started doing these art workshops. Then I realized that I was good at communicating and teaching. And then I was good at synthesizing all the knowledge that I had into actionable chunks of pieces of information which can be, used. So I did these workshops, and then I was like, you know what? I have the skill sets to create like a really good course, and I went ahead and made it. And I made $20,000 or $30,000 in that given year, which is a good chunk of money, right? Like, yes, that's nice. right? So, but the thing is, if you want to do big, to do better, to do things well on a consistent basis over a long period of time, you need to slightly think in terms of, say, a productized service. A productized service is something where you take a service and you basically productize it. By the way, I'm still do not know what I'm talking about half of the things that I'm talking about, but I'm just sharing my experience. So if I look like a complete noob, you are probably right. I am one. So the thing is, I was like, I wanted to create a service like Headspace and Waking Up and Beachbody and P90X. These were all my inspirations, right? And I wanted to sort of create something that would be like a nice test run of it, and that was Drawing Camp. Drawing Camp was one of those home workout DVD-like programs, but for art and drawing. And a lot of freaking people loved it. Like, we have nothing but good things to say. I mean, we have gotten nothing but good things from those who have enrolled in the program. And I have not done a good job in communicating this aspect about the program to people. Hence, it's sort of coming off as like a course. And one of the things that often people say is like, we can find the same information online in different places. Yes, you can, but we do not sell information. What I did or try to do different with Drawing Camp was to sell implementation and give away the information for free, right? And that is exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm by the way sharing all my secrets right here. So feel free to steal it and implement it so that I can learn from you instead of using my own time to learn things. So my whole idea was give away the information and then sell the implementation, right? Give away the information for free, gain goodwill, and then sell the implementation so that you make money, you will help the folks, and everybody's happy. Those who don't have the money, they learn and all that good stuff, right? So that's what I did. So we created a program called Drawing Camp over a span of 2 years, and now it's making the money it's making. It's almost 80 to 90% of the revenue, but I'm sort of trying to, I wouldn't say diversify. I'm not diversifying at all. In fact, I'm actually going all in on this one thing, right? Instead of diversifying. So lessons, right? If I were to start and do this whole thing all over again, how would I do it? How would I get to a $100,000 a year business and potentially get to $1 million a year? Before I share my opinion, I would like to share the answers of some well-learned and more intelligent folks in this space who has done this thing over and over again. One of the answers that often Alex Hormozi, a entrepreneur, founder of acquisition.com, says is, what you do to get $100,000 a year is this. You sell one product through one channel to one avatar. You sell something to someone. And that's how you get to $100,000 a year. If you want to get to $1 million a year, you want to sell something to someone consistently. That's what you need to do. And there is so much wisdom in that that one sentence, consistency, right? Consistently. Because as I went into this game of trying to make money with my art so that I can make art, I realized you gotta become more organized. You gotta become more systemized. You gotta have systems and processes and things in place. You can't just wing it, right? There's no winging it in this game, buddy. Kesh, boy, this is a podcast for the younger version of yourself, my friend. So listen to me, Kesh. What you need to do to get from $0 to $100,000 is this: sell something to someone. And do that as many times as you possibly can. Good. You'll make you $100,000. Awesome. And there's so much simplicity. I know you're probably stressed right now. You're like, what do I sell? What do I do? What do I do? Don't worry about any of those things, right? What you actually need to do is start and know that the questions that you're asking, the answers for the question that you're asking lies in you starting and going through the journey, right? So if you're stressed, if you don't know what you're doing, if you're uncertain, that is completely fine, because everyone who has done this before you, who does not have a coach, I just tweaked my neck, right? Were like this. They had no clue what they were doing, and they were just trying to learn from other folks who have done it, and they were just trying to mirror things around. So that's what I would do, Kesh. Start. But with that said, little Kesh, here are some things you might want to keep in mind when you're starting with things which I wish I had known. Number one, art business. Stop trying to start an art business. There's no such thing as an art business. There's just a business and can be in a given category. Any business should offer a valuable service or a product in exchange for money. And the thing with you wanting to start an art business, little Kesh, is this. You're trying to sell your art, right? Unless you sell your art literally for hundreds and thousands of dollars, right? You might have to accrue other skill sets that goes along with your art in order to do things. What do you say? Make money. And those skill sets doesn't necessarily just have to be skill sets. They're also actually beliefs about what you believe to be true in terms of the world. Like stuff you believe, like cheap stuff sells. I'm going to, one of the beliefs that I used to have, when I was starting out was, just a second, let me just adjust the mic. Yes. One of the beliefs that I used to have was, I'm going to create a $10 product, sell it to 1 million people. I'm going to make $10 million. One, it's a great plan. In execution, you're just going to have a very crappy time because you do not know what it takes to acquire one customer, right? And it's not easy. Trust me, it's not easy to get 1 million people getting, say, enrolled into your programs or sell to 1 million people. It's much easier to sell a $1,000 thing for 1,000 people rather than a $10 thing to 1 million people or 100,000 people. So that was one of the first lessons that I've learned. It's easier. And when you're starting out, you might want to stack the deck in your favor by creating highly valuable and high-priced products and services to very few people and leave out the other people. Niche down to blow up, right? That's another thing I've learned. Niche down to blow up. If you go broad, you'll go broke. That is the thing. You got to really focus on one thing, right? And that one thing should be something that should be in a category of one. You want to create something that is unique, that stands out from the market rather than just like another run-of-the-mill thing. And you can do that by scratching your own itch and sort of including certain factors that makes that product uniquely your own. One leverage that I would be extremely careful, and one lever that I would be extremely careful to pull in order to make a product unique is this: putting yourself as the main face. The thing about, say, building a business, which I've learned, is if you are creating a creator business, right? If you're creating a creator business, then you always need to be working. If you want a business instead of a day job, basically. So that's the thing about people who get into business or trying to make money on their own. I heard this wonderful quote somewhere which said, entrepreneurs work 80 hours a week. And what is that thing? Entrepreneurs, work themselves to death for 80 hours a week for working for themselves instead of working 40 hours a week in a day job, right? So, no. Oh, wait. I got it right now. Entrepreneurs will work 80-hour weeks in their business in order to avoid 40-hour day jobs, right? I'm still butchering the quote, but the whole thing is most people try to run from a day job and try to create a business, and then you just end up creating another day job. So that was my case for at the very start. Right now, it's probably not. So that's why I did a couple of changes with Drawing Camp. So one, don't put yourself too much into the business. You should be able to create an asset or something that makes money that is just solely not only dependent on your face value. It should have its value of its own. So that is one. Scratch your own itch, be in the category of 1, so that if you're scratching your own niche will allow you to sort of understand the customer really well, thus providing a product or a service that is extremely nuanced and detailed, because you are in the trenches with them experiencing the problem. Therefore, you will know the pain points, and therefore you will create a solution to the problem. And that's how the world works. People like us, you come in, you get into problems and you solve things and you move the civilization forward. That is how the thing works, right? So that is 1. Don't create a course. If you're going into the art business, know that you need to accrue other skills. And the way you accrue other skills is pick one skill, do 100 repetitions of it. That is a very simple way to do things. And once you go along the journey, you then choose one thing to get really good at, right? So that is one thing about, say, getting from 0 to 100 and 100 to 1 million. Focus on one product, little cash. Take one product, focus on that product. You can have multiple offers in that given product. You can sell it at different price points, different variations and all that stuff. But create one product for one avatar and market it through one channel so that you can actually learn the business fundamentals. This is a lesson I missed for a very long time, and I'm still slowly learning it. I haven't fully learned it. Because if you really want to build a stable and a solid business that will last even after 10 years, my friend, you got to work on the fundamentals, just like you work on the fundamentals of drawing. And the fundamentals of business is learning to master 3 core essential items in any given business, which is channel, aka marketing, or the ways through which you'll get customers or leads. Then is the product, which is the thing that you're actually selling. It should be absolutely freaking fantastic. And then the avatar, who you're selling to, so that you can customize your message and talk in certain ways, or you can one, communicate to the to that particular avatar in ways only they could understand, and also at the same time you can create these niche down products and focus on say selling to very small set of people instead of like literally everyone, which usually does not work unless you're like a different vehicle. Speaking of vehicles, the boat you're in matters a lot. This is something I've recently learned, which is this. Yes, you can make money with your art, but should you make money with your art? Word of advice, don't. The thing is this, if you start making money with your art, what happens is you start diluting your creative process or creativity in order to fit into the molds of customers. And that often puts you in a box. Now, you can separate these things and have art separate and, stuff separate. So that's why I never made money with my art directly, because I knew I would have to sort of put things into a box. I didn't want to do that. So therefore, I put teaching art into the box, therefore allowing my art to be completely free on its own. I can just create whatever the heck I want, right? So, by the way, also freedom, unlimited freedom. Yeah, it's not as fun as it sounds. It sounds so, yeah, I'm free all the time. It's a prison, trust me. I've been free all the time, and it is not given the happiness that I thought it would, So, couple of things on that, little cash. Just watch out for that things, buddy. So, focus on one product, little cash, and you got to focus on 3 things: what, who, and how. What is the problem that you're trying to solve? Who are you trying to solve it for? And how are you going to do it? The very common mistake is this: starting with the how. Don't start with the how. Oh, I'm going to create a course to teach someone something. That's the how. What is the problem? Oh, this person wants to get from point A to point B. That is a problem. Is a course necessary, or can you go do something else? Is that a different solution that you can come up with in order to solve their problem? So what, who, and how. By the way, little plug, if you're an artist with, say, art skills and want to monetize their stuff with, say, and make, say, $30,000 to $40,000 a year in side income, and having to skip through all the hard phases of not knowing what to do, email me saying creatives, KREA, TIVS, creatives, with the subject line creatives. I want to be a creative, right? Email me, and then I'll show you how you can do this thing, how you can get from 0 to 1. That's all I know. I don't know how to get from 1 to 10. I know how to get from 0 to 1, right? I mean, I do know how to get from 1 to 10. I just haven't done it. So then there's no point in me, talking about something without walking the walk. Anyway, so with that said, what, who, and how. Don't start with the how. Start with the what and who. Define your people. And here's the thing about who. Who is basically the market that you're going after. If you're going after a market which has money, you'll make a lot of money. Simple stuff. If you're selling, that's why people who are in finance make more money than people who are in art. Because there's more money in finance because the people who are in finance have more money. Or in law, or in what are the industries? Like all the money industries, right? Health, the big three: the health, wealth, and relationships. If your business falls into any of these three buckets, health, or wealth, or relationship, it's very easy to make a lot of money. Compared to, say, art, if you pair art with health or happiness, then you can sort of then get into the core needs of the people. So that is the thing. Next lesson, which is this: easy to sell $1,000 product to 100 people than a $100 product to 1,000 people. I think I've already talked about this in little thing over there. It's like, yeah, Kesh, dude, zone in, buddy. Zone in. Stop trying to sell to everyone. Zone in. Also, read The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. A great freaking book. I would highly recommend that book. Do it. Get it, and yeah, that's the thing. And I think these are it. Actually, it's a weird podcast, by the way. I don't know what I'm doing. So back to our question: how to start $100,000 a year business? This is what you do. You create a product, one offer, one channel, one avatar. Not even one offer. You can have one product and a couple of tiers of offer, and you sell to one avatar. And if you do that consistently, you got a business. After that, does it have enterprise value? Stuff that I'm recently learning. There's something that I learned called enterprise value, meaning what is the value of your business? Depends on if your business can run on its own without you. If everything depends on you, my friend, then your business is not a business, just a day job. That's a hard lesson that I learned. If it stops spinning without you, it's a day job, not a business. You might as well go get a day job, because business has risks. And if you don't understand the risk of business, then it's best not. Okay, I wouldn't say it's best not to get into it. I did not know the risks of business when I was getting into it. So yeah, just do what works for you. That's the thing. I'm just telling you, it has its risks. So it's best to sort of know that and get into it than not know that and be naive about it. So sort of end this podcast on a random note, which is master business fundamentals till you hit $1 million to $3 million. So here are the business fundamentals that you need to hit if you want to go from $100,000 to $1 million or more. This is my plan, right? 1, individualize the offer. Create one offer, one product, and increase the lifetime value of a given product or the offer. Then that means if you're selling one product for $100 and that's all your customers can buy from you, then it's going to be hard for you to make $1 million a year business, because, to be honest, then you need to sell a $100 product to literally 10,000 people every single year. So what is easier if the lifetime value, meaning throughout the lifetime of the customer, from the point of their interaction with you as a customer, if they can buy more products and services from you, and you can give more value to them by offering different kinds of products and services to them, and have more, say, lifetime gross profit per customer, which is a term I learned from Alex Hormozi, LTGP, which basically means revenue does not equal profit. That's another lesson. Just because you make $100,000 doesn't mean you're making $100,000 a year. For example, like 70% of it goes in like taxes, overheads, this and that and all this. So then you take home like 30% of that. And India has quite the freaking high tax rate compared to even the US and Canada. And not Canada. Canada, I think it's like 50%, almost half your income is gone. Man, I have a friend from Canada. I don't know how he lives there. Buddy, You move to India. Just kidding. So yes, if you want to get from $1 to $3 million a year, here's what you do. Take that one product, make it absolutely effing interesting and best in the world. That's one of the advice I got from my Canadian friend, by the way. He gave me, he sold his company, he made us money and all that stuff. So he knows clearly what he's talking about. And he gave me this piece of advice, like, Cash, make the best product in the world, man. That's the best. That's the only advice that you need at this point. Make the best freaking product, bro. And he also told me, which is another thing which he told me was, what was it? Heads, I win. Tails, I don't lose much. Meaning you take asymmetric bets, meaning you take bets in businesses, you make decisions, and in those decisions, don't try to make all or nothing decisions. Rather, make decisions which, like, if you win the decision, you stand to gain a lot. If you lose, you don't lose much at all, right? That's what he meant. And these are two things I've quite honestly learned from him. And so if you want to take your thing from 1 to 3, make the best product in the whole world, standardize your channels, and make sure the channel does not only involve you, and clarify the avatar, give more value to the avatar. And you do all these things consistently, and by consistently meaning you have certain operations that are happening in the business. You systemize it, you standardize it, you schedule every little aspects and actions that you need to do every single freaking day. And you either do it or you delegate it to other people who will do it. So that is the thing. That is a podcast. That is quite the brain vomit right there. And I'm not sure if this was helpful at all, but I just want to sort of get these things out. And quite honestly, now that I've put it out, I've just realized the whole idea of how to create $100,000 a year business is completely, I wouldn't say confused. I'm just realizing that, oh man, I went through like zigzag, zug, zug, zug patterns to get here. So, I mean, just like anything in life. So, yeah, that's the podcast. By the way, if you are a person or an artist who wants to do this for themselves, email me at kesh@keshard.in with the subject, I'm a creative. And the qualifications is you should be doing your art skill for at least 5 years, and you should be extremely good at what you're doing. And that is a basic qualifier. So, yeah, thank you. Bye-bye. To the top, I won't stop until I find it. Write my name in diamonds, but all these lights are blinding. I wonder, is it worth it? Feel like I'm losing my mind.